Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I think I had the wrong scene on there anyway, so it's all right.
I like that intro.
And we got people getting on already, but we got to first though we got to get we got to get some cheers for you guys. Congrats! And of course, there is an empty spot there for Mark. We had a little time thing there, but he'll be on in just a minute. But we got Wyatt. I call him Wyatt the Wizard. And Justin Faircloth and Jesse, Big Bass Jesse. Look at that behind him. Got that Big Bass banner. But so there'll be we'll get some guys on here. We're gonna talk about the KBF National Championship on Conversations with Kayak Jack tonight. Last night we had the Yak Off Awards. We were in the round 2, and I think everybody back home. Everybody's back home, right?
Yep.
That was a long drive.
I bet it was. Get him in there, and
Yes.
I'm gonna get him in. Oh, they took over the show.
What's
There you
going
go. I
on?
got you.
Here he
Yeah,
is.
Mark. Mark was the runner-up this year, and so we got some guys that did some damage at Gunnersville here, you guys, and we're going to talk about it here, and we're going to get right into it about the experience and about some of the things you guys did. And by the way, I have my hat on, the 10 hat, because that was like a lifetime goal, man, to make that thing. And all you guys are in it, right?
Yep.
No, Mark's not.
Nope, I suck.
Were you close?
I don't think so. I didn't fish a single state challenge this year or anything like that, and which was one of the conversations that me and Chad were talking about for gearing up for next year. And I said, to be honest with you, I said I haven't fished a state challenge probably in a couple of years. I said not because I don't want to fish KBF or anything. I said I always not to gloat. I said, but we always finish in the top 100. I said so. I'm already qualified for next year. So,
I think so. If you qualify for the 10, you qualify for the national championship for life. Yeah,
correct.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So anyway, that's pretty neat. Oh, somebody just ran by you, Mark.
Yeah, that's the wife cooking.
Okay. So anyway, Mark is in. Are you in New York?
Yes.
He's in New York,
specifically Long Island.
Oh, Long Island. Yeah. And then Justin is in North Carolina.
Yes.
And Wyatt, North Carolina.
Yep. About an hour and a half south of Justin.
Wow. And then Jesse, Vermont.
Vermont, about 6 hours north of Mark.
Wow. We're dominated by the East here today, people, except one Midwest guy, and that's me in Nebraska. So what we're going to do we're going to get right into this. And I just have a question for Wyatt right off the bat. How does it feel to take home the national title?
It's a little unreal. I was not expecting it. I told Justin every single day, like I'm not on those fish.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was on those fish this whole week. I had to go back and look at the pre-fish 3 fish. I didn't even catch a fish over 19 inches during the whole pre-fish. So it's unreal. I mean, it's an awesome blessing though. Like
you to me, whenever I meet you, I see you. You're the most level-headed guy I've ever seen. That you don't get too excited or too low. You just keep going, right down the line.
Out on the outside, yes. On the inside,
okay. There's no broken rods or anything this past week, though, right?
No broken rods. No Iconelli. I didn't break a flagpole or anything like that. Nothing.
Okay. So what? So Justin, Was it? I mean, I know you were going after that challenge championship. How does that feel?
To be honest, I mean, I told Wyatt even before we headed down there, like my goal was just to make the 10. Like he said during pre-fishing, I think my biggest fish was a 19 and a quarter. So I had no ambitions of winning the Challenge Series championship. Day one, it just went off the chart. I think I caught my first fish at 7:30 that morning. It was like a 13 and a half. I couldn't have been more happy to put that on the board. And as soon as that sun come up, it was lights out till about 12:30, and I literally left my spot with 97 inches and went to another spot right around the corner. And first dock that I pulled up to, I pulled a 21 and a quarter and a 21 back-to-back cast. Then the third dock, I caught the 20 and 3/4 that gave me the 103 and a quarter inches that day, and that was surreal. I mean, that was my first live tournament where I broke the century mark. I've done it at home, at the local lakes and stuff in a single day, but that was something special.
Yeah, I'll bet, man. And then Jesse, you didn't know you were in the top 10 of the. I got an echo. He's got an echo there.
I didn't know until Friday morning. I showed up at the ramp, and I just accepted the fact that I had fulfilled my desires for the week coming down. Like I had goals, pretty simple goals. I just wanted a bag every day. I didn't care if it was 60 inches, 512s, and that was it. I just wanted a bag every day, and that was going to be a positive for me. And then, so I get to the ramp, and JB comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, man, did you check the standings?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in like 14th." He's like, "No, like the AOI standings." I'm like, "Oh, crap." Because it like flew over my head I'm like, oh, it's by AOI points. And he shows me, and I'm like right there in 10th place. And I just like my throat like tightened up, and then I just kind of like went to my knees and just like let it out, and then got up and hugged him, and I don't know, it was had me on cloud 9 for the rest of the day, and then of course ended up going out and pulling out the big bass that afternoon. So
yeah, we're going to tell that story in a little bit.
It was the morning.
Yeah, we're going to tell that story here in a little bit. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I didn't even know to check those standings. I had to figure out how to do it. Once I did, I got on there and I go, man, I'm in 10th. When I was on, I looked, I was in 10th. Yeah. But I go, oh man, those guys right behind me only need one fish. We're going to get one. And then for some reason, I just kept staying there. And then I caught an upgrade and moved into 6th place. And I'm like, I got a chance.
Yeah.
And then ended up a tie for 6th. But so all you guys made it, and it's going to be I think it'll be pretty fun, hopefully this next year. But I heard that you got kind of emotional though, Jesse, when you heard about it.
Yep. I got very emotional. I mean, to hit those bags and be like, all right, and before I had gone out, I told my wife, I was like, that last day, I'm like, I'm just going to go, do what I do. I'm going to go fish, and I'm going to have fun, because that's what I've been doing all year. And I've been grinding hard, but I've been having fun doing it and learning a lot, and just following some new techniques. But yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So Mark, for you, what was it? I mean, you were the runner-up, national runner-up. What's that feeling like?
Surreal. At first, my first thoughts were, man, I wish it was more people. Didn't feel at first as prestigious, but then when you look at the leaderboard and you realize your name is next to the national champion from last year, and you're ahead of guys like Russ Snyder's and Gene Jensen, and then all of a sudden it goes, you get the smack in the back of the head, like, no, like, you know, it's you being up here with guys who fish these lakes all the time, all year round, travel the country, and you just quickly put together a week, pre-fished for 3 days of practice, and gave it your all. It's a telltale in itself, I think.
Cool.
But yeah.
Little technical difficulty here. I'm wondering if we're on live on YouTube. Yeah, we are. We're good. We're good. Somebody asked a question. Heath Smith, yes, we are live on YouTube under Kayak Jack, KYAKJAK. And then Matt Dillon, we're going to answer these questions as we go to you guys. Wyatt, are you a Pats fan or a Giants fan, being from Vermont?
From North Carolina. I think Jesse was from Vermont, right?
Oh, yeah, Jesse. So they got that mixed up. But I know I like those Giants, but they lost their two guys, man, that were like the most exciting there's ever been for the Giants.
No, my football died, so I have been away from that for a long time. I'm not even going to admit who I'm a fan of. So
okay, I gotta check this here. In the meantime, I'm checking YouTube. It should be live on there.
Yep, they're saying that we are.
I see us live on YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah, Jesse's saying that we are.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know, Trevor. We are live on YouTube. Trevor's on too as well. We got a lot of people watching you guys, so it's pretty cool. So here's the next question. Wyatt, this is for you, Wyatt, and then and then anybody wants to chime in, you guys chime in anytime. This is mainly for you guys too, and for people watching that want to go to Guntersville. Maybe, guys, the people watching. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want to go to a place that has bass, big bass, lots of bass,
lots of big bass.
Yeah, lots of big bass. I mean, every cast could get you a 23-inch, right, Jesse?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know.
I mean, it's possible.
Garrett Wade pulled one out from behind my kayak on the last day.
I know you can definitely, without a doubt, pull out a 21 or a 22 pretty regularly. So.
Oh yeah. So, what was your overall game plan, Wyatt, going in, and did it change once you got on the water?
Yeah, so it kind of rotated throughout the entire week. So I got there Sunday afternoon about 12 o'clock so I got 2.5 days of practice in, and I immediately went to go check my grass, my like main river grass right south of that upper bridge, and I did that for about 2 hours. I was out there for about 2 hours, and I had nothing. I had not a single bite. It was just, and
wow.
My friend Gabby's always knocking me in the back of the head, telling me like, "Hey, if it's not working, stop doing that." And I was out there for 2 hours without a single bite. So I picked up a jig and went to some docks, and I think it was the second dock that I fished. I was in between two docks, probably 15 feet apart, and I got to the very back of it, and I threw the jig up under there and caught a 17. Unhooked the fish, threw back in the exact same spot, caught a 17 3/4. Unhooked that fish, threw it back, caught an 18 3/4, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to go fish some docks the rest of the day. So I spent the next 2 days kind of going through and finding areas that were fairly similar to that, and just kind of trying to pick apart the docks and figure out like where the fish were sitting, how they kind of positioned, because they changed a little bit throughout the day.
Yeah.
And that's what I did for the first 3 days of the championship. And then during the Hero Cup, I was going out there and I fishing the jig on docks, making that same run that I'd made the first 3 days, and I just started missing fish on the jig, and they would come off or they'd peck it and I'd miss, and like I ended up losing like 6 fish on the jig.
Wow.
And she knocks me on the back of the head again and says, "Well, it's not working. Stop doing that." And I was sitting down in the kayak, just retying, kind of like, what am I doing here? Why are these fish not biting? And I look over, and there's a school of fish just blowing up about 100 yards away from me. And I'm sitting there staring at them, retying my jig. I'm like, those kind of look like big fish. And I like put the jig rod down, put it behind me, pick up a chatterbait rod, and roll over there, and it just started, 17, 18, 18, 17. And that's all except for one fish on that final Hero Cup day. That's everything came off a chatterbait. So like I started punching grass, then to docks, and then scrapped the whole plan and went to chatterbait that final day.
Wow. How about you, Justin? What was your overall game plan coming in, and then how did it change?
So I was on the way down there on Sunday. I drove down, got in late Sunday evening, was talking to Wyatt a little bit, and I was going off the history from when we were down there for TKS and last year from the national championship as well. I was coming in to fish docks. I had pretty good luck with that the last two times, so that was the game plan. Went to my original spot on Monday. Was there for maybe 2 or 3 hours, Wyatt?
Yeah,
I was
if that.
I said the fish are still here. I said I don't feel like there's giant ones, but they're here. It'll be enough to still possibly make the 10. And so I left there, went to another spot, same thing, checking out docks, and they were there too. It seems like if there was a dock that was in less than a foot of water, there was fish there.
Yeah.
So I kept doing that. Early in the mornings, I couldn't really get the jig bite, so I'd pick up the chatterbait and fish the fronts of the deeper docks, and was able to pull a limit together like that. And then as the sun got up, just went back to the docks, and that's where my bigger bites come from.
Nice. Anybody else?
Yeah. I went down there knowing that I would be cracking them on a chatterbait, and it was just a matter of figuring out which one was going to work for me. And I started out with the white, didn't get nothing going on a white. Went to gold, nothing was really going after gold. So I was like, all right, we got a little bit of stain around here. There's a couple of dirty spots, so I'm gonna throw a black and blue. And hearing like dock talk and stuff around, and people were like, oh, you're throwing black, jackhammers and this and that, and like really heavy chatterbaits. And I'm like, I'm going to downgrade because these fish are probably used to getting beat on with these jackhammers. So I went down to the mini max, and then basically out of the 30 plus fish that I put up this week, all but 6 of them came on a black and blue mini max.
Wow,
Yep.
That's neat. What kind of trailer, or can you say?
So I actually decided to go with a little bit bigger. Traditionally, you're going to be throwing like a 3.5 on a mini max, but I went ahead and threw the 4.5 spunk shad in the bruised green pumpkin. Mm-hmm. So worked out really good.
Wow. How about you, Mark?
We left Long Island around 9 o'clock at night on Halloween. Got here Saturday. Got down there about Saturday afternoon. So prepped the house, went shopping, and did all that nonsense, and prepped for Sunday's pre-fishing number 1. And no docks were definitely on my bingo card. My game plan was that at this time of year they should be pushed to the back of creeks and on bait, and which they were. Normally, the last 2 nationals that I've came down, even the Ambassador Series Championship, pre-fishing has always been kind of like non-existent, lackluster, and then all of a sudden game day the lights just kind of switch on for some reason. I'm not sure what that phenomenon is about. However, this time, day 1, we the first spot I picked, we were kicking the snot out of like 16-inch fish on I hover rig a Berkeley Mech scent flatworm, and we were just crushing them. So I was like, okay, well, this is a good spot. So then we go to another place, day 2, and caught nothing. And we left that spot, went to another spot, caught nothing. We left that spot, went to a third spot, and caught nothing. And it was very strange. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I know where I'm going, the next day. So I was talking to Michelle because we launched together, so we fish in the same area. And then she was discouraged after day one, and I was like, listen, these fish are here. Like we know they're here. I was like, and the way they're chasing, I was like, you can end up on a pod of 20 inches in the matter of seconds and put up 100 inches. It's just a matter of being in the right time, and the right place.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, the final day where everything matters, my second it was actually, to back up a little bit, we were supposed to have wind, if I'm not mistaken, on the
Yeah.
final day. It was supposed to be like 9 miles per hour sustained, 19 gusts, something like that. And I get out of the truck, and I still had like 3 rods that I didn't even have anything tied on yet because I wasn't really sure. And it was dead calm, like not a breath. And I'm like, man, I would love to throw a micro popper right now. I don't have a rod to throw it on. You got your drop shot rod that has 8-pound fluorocarbon on it. Just screw it.
I don't know how far that would go.
You're gonna catch, yeah. This is gonna go so well. I mean, you're gonna catch 16s. The second cast, this 21-inch behemoth inhales it, and the fight is on to keep that fish from out of the pads and the grass. Lo and behold, we land it, and then I follow it up with like another 13 in like the first 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden the bite goes away for like an hour. So she's across the way, and we're kind of like fishing towards each other, and we may eventually make a pass. I'm like, oh, how you doing? And she's like, you had to beat me. And I'm like, what do you mean I had to beat you? She's like, I caught a 20 and a half, and you caught a 21. I'm like, I caught a 21? She's like, well, yeah, I saw it when I uploaded it. I'm like, wow. So we kind of do this. She goes to where I was. I go to where she was. I pick up another 20 and a half and a 19.
Wow. So we're gonna shift gears here to what happened at the venue, because guys are asking about that, Justin, and I'm gonna let Justin kind of tell. Here's the question, Justin. Matt Dillon, who threw the cardboard in the fireplace? They want to hear that story, Justin.
We're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that. Okay. We're just going to say that the place caught on fire. We had the firemen there, and they did a good job.
Justin got the power pole thing because all of his winnings are going to go to pay for the chimney.
Okay. So anyway, let's go on here. So here's one. What was the biggest challenge for you guys? What was the biggest challenge for you on any given? Now, remember, we had tournaments within tournaments in this deal, but you can choose whatever you want. But basically, we had the Challenge Championship and the National Championship were the two major ones. What challenges did you face, or did you even have any challenges? I know I visited with some of you guys at supper that one night, and we talked about some of them. But if you want, go ahead and tell us.
I know mine was trying to make sure that my fish weren't going to get burned just because I ran the same stretch for 5 days in a row. I ran it in practice, and then 3 days during the tournament, and then one more day during the Hero Cup. And I was just Justin got tired of hearing it. And I was like, every day I come back, and I'm like, I don't know if I have any more fish because I caught everything.
Did anybody else? Was anybody else in your area fishing those same docks?
So I had Tim Isaacs and Jody Queen. I pulled up, and in practice Jody was back there, and I launched, and we went to the exact same school of fish to start, and I was like, of course I had to start behind Jody Queen. I was like, I'm never going to catch anything now.
Yeah.
So I talked to him, and we worked out where we were going to start. And then the tournament day, Tim Isaacs went over there, and I was like, of course, it's another just absolute hammer. I've got to fish behind and not catch anything. And I fished behind Tim for like 30 minutes. I didn't catch a single fish. He caught everything out of there. He seened them out.
Wow.
So
what day was that? What day was that on?
The first day of the challenge series. Yeah. So in practice, Jody was there, and then the first day of the challenge series, Tim went there, and it was just for the 30 minutes. The rest of the day, I had everything to myself. I say all the days, I had everything else to myself.
Okay. I was going to ask you what had changed there on that, but anybody else have a challenge?
Staying out of my own head. I think that was probably the biggest thing for me this year, especially early in the spring. I was constantly battling with, am I making the right decisions? Am I going to the right places? Is the timing off? Am I going to be throwing the right bait? And, starting off going out on the day one of practice. So I ended up getting down there by Friday, and then started pre-fishing Saturday. And Saturday, I think I didn't even get a bite until probably 9, 10 o'clock. So you got that in the back of your head, and you're just like, come on, man, let's go. And, come on, start biting. And then, of course, you're like, here, fishy, fishy, fishy. You start doing that stuff.
I did that.
But it's like, you just got to keep grinding and be like, you know what? It's going to work out. This pattern is right. And we just got to be in the right place at the right time, and they're going to fire. And it worked. And that's, I take those lessons that I watch Gerald Swindle when he does his PMAs, keeping that positive mental attitude, especially when things get really tough. Yeah. And I think that was one of the hardest things to take away in a big, in-person tournament like this. I mean, when you're doing the challenge series, it doesn't have the same effect, but when you got the pressure from being around all these guys and, like Justin, like I look over there on day one and I'm like, oh, it's 9 o'clock and Justin's sniffing 100 inches already. Like, come on now.
Yeah. I know several of us had to be real patient with the bites. And I knew that from the practice that the bite may not even start till noon or 1. Yep. And then I'll tell you on one of the days, on the day we had cloud cover, that was the national championship, wasn't it? I had four fish at 1 o'clock, I think. And I was like, okay, I'm going to this little key spot to get a bass. I got one on the first cast, but then I went back, the sun came out and I caught 3 in 10 minutes at the original spot, in that last hour when the sun came out. So you just had to be real patient for them, depending on where they were at, because we had that full moon and I'm sure they were gorging all night.
Oh yeah. They were stuffing themselves.
Yeah. And so that was a lot of it, depending on where you were at in the lake. I think those dockfish, though, Wyatt, they probably just stayed there, didn't they? They just like eat anything that comes near the dock, right?
I think that a lot of those fish were roaming the grass. They were up shallow during the night, and they would kind of tuck back under it during the day or once the light came out. But I mean, I also think that it's Guntersville. There's so many fish that there's just always fish under those docks. Like there's.
Sure.
If I stuck a camera under there, it'd probably be 50 fish under every one of them.
Well, here's a question on that from Heath again.
Yeah.
So for those that caught fish on docks, did the grass give them difficulty? Give you guys difficulty? He says he fishes there and he hates fishing techniques that involve the grass.
So there's a lot of those docks. A lot of the docks that were really good. I think it was the same for Justin too. Were the ones that were that high off the water, and there's grass up to the edge, but there's no grass underneath the dock. And you throw up underneath. Like I was fishing a 1/2 ounce jig, and if I was fishing in grass, it'd be dragging through grass. But you skip it up under that dock, and there's most of them. There's no grass under there. It's just open shell bottom, and those fish can see that thing laying down there, and they all just swim over to it.
And that makes sense because those docks aren't getting any sunlight under there, so therefore plant growth.
Yeah,
and they can just use that as a little ambush line. And I did notice on the last day I caught a couple fish off the actual walkway, because you go up to the walkway and there's no grass from the bank all the way under the dock.
Yeah,
there's grass right up the walkway, and then it just stops. Yeah. Those fish can sit there and just use that as a little tunnel to go back under the docks.
Wow. And I want to tell people that are watching or will watch, Mark changed his background, but those
I just moved so there was less distractions going on behind me.
I thought you were like in a restaurant or something.
No, Michelle and the kids, they're doing showers and going back and forth. So let me move.
The awards behind these guys are not AI guys; they're real.
Mine's my
so you guys know. The
other Mine's thing, on the shelf in the living
room. So let's go around. What were your guys' most productive? And if you don't have to tell everything. I mean, but what were your most productive baits in this
jig?
Jig.
Yep.
Underspin and A rig.
Underspin A rig.
Minimax until the last day.
Yeah. Wyatt, you threw a jig, right?
The popper was just the thing in the morning when it was calm, and then once the wind picked up, I put it away.
I threw a walking bait that Austin let me use, and the only way it got bit though is if I could get it to dip under the water.
Huh.
And then when it go under the water, it just explode on. And I threw it. Of course, Garrett gave me one of his A rigs on the last day. Oh my gosh, that was nuts. And underspin's how I got most of mine too, and through the grass. The New York guys, your guys, they were throwing the underspin out there too.
Yep.
So anyway, and then did anybody fish the river?
You got to call Russ for that.
Yeah.
Russ. Okay. So Russ fished the river, Matt. You got to get a hold of Russ, Matt. Well, I don't know what this means. So you were in effect fishing an
grass edge.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Grass edge on the docks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely farther back under, like if I could get it into the center of the dock, as far back in that just nastiness where no one's trying to cast.
Yeah.
I caught a couple fish on the edges, but the bigger fish were 20 feet up under the dock.
Wow. Yeah, Garrett's on here too. Garrett, we should have had Garrett on here too. We'd had a big party, wouldn't we? He tore it up too.
Yeah.
Okay, so were you guys? Let me ask you this: how important was electronics for you guys?
I don't use electronics.
Really, zero.
Yeah.
The only thing I used mine for when it got 3 lines and said I was in shallow water, that's where I threw at.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
If they had numbers on the rail, shooting depth, they wasn't there.
So it really wasn't in play that much, then, was it, for you guys?
Yep. I made sure to turn the sonar part off. I had the graph going, but I turned off all the sonar just in case in that shallow water they could hear that pinging.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. So
I would say my electronics were key. I run Mega 360 and Active Target. Actually, on the final day, I actually took my Mega 360 off because it was not helping me in the style of how I was fishing, being that I was hunting down the wolf packs of fish chasing after the baits. So I ended up taking it off, so it was one less thing for me to carry.
Okay. So Justin and Wyatt, you guys had a dock pattern. Jesse, you had a grass pattern, right?
Sure did.
And then Mark, your pattern.
They were shallow in the grass. The edge I was working was a lily pad edge that was still green.
Okay.
So in other words, they were everywhere.
They were everywhere. Okay, so let's talk about kayak setups. Just anytime you want to chime in, what were your kayak setups?
Yep. Well, y'all saw mine. I'm running that Black Widow Blue Sky, and and I only had 6 rods at a max. And the thing is I was really only using like 2 throughout the entire. I carried my. I was throwing the chatterbait all the time. Then occasionally I'd switch to throw a spinnerbait just to see if they were on any of that. Which I didn't. I think I got 1 fish in practice on a spinnerbait. After that, I was throwing a micro underspin, and I got a dink, and that was it. And then, like I said, everything else was on the Minimax. So that's pretty much just what I stuck with until the last day. And, we're going to get to that when we talk about the big guy.
Right. We're going to tell that story. Now, is your Big Sky red?
Yes, red and black.
Yeah. You know what? I followed you a couple of days, and I thought it was a guy with a big lawnmower in the back of his truck. That thing sticks up there. You're sitting in comfort, man, in that thing.
Oh yeah, it's been a blast to ride around it and stuff. I mean, I will admit, a few times this summer, well, more than a few times, if the bite got really tough, I'd just sling a Senko out there, let it sit down, and then I'd take a nap.
You can on that boat, yeah. You put a towel out and get a suntan, man.
Yep.
So who else wants to tell us about their kayak?
So I've got. Yep. Everywhere, Justin.
No, go ahead.
I've got autopilot 136, and I've got dual Solixes on there and Mega Live, but like I said, I had all that stuff turned off. Normally I only bring 4 rods. I brought 5 rods. I brought 5 rods this time. I had one sitting down next, the chatterbait sitting down next to me, so I could cast at school and fish. But try and keep it relatively simple because I don't want to confuse myself with extra stuff to throw.
So are you now the overall captain of the Old Town team?
I'll give Casey that one. He's still the boss.
Okay, all right. I didn't know because man, you took home a lot of hardware there. So we're going to show that here in a little bit. And then what about you, Justin? What's your kayak there?
I fish out of a Hobie PA14. And I've got the Bonafide PWR that me and Wyatt won at Santee last month. I used my PA14 down here because I've got a bow mount motor on it. Makes it a little easier fishing docks versus a stern mount. Run dual HDS Live 12s with active target 2. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Like I said,
nice.
I learned a lot from fishing with Wyatt this year. Like I told Hank the other day, he taught me how to simplify things and don't overthink it. Used to I would bring as many rods as I could fit on the boat and try to bring more. Now I got 2 jig rods and 2 chatterbait rods, and if I can't catch them on that, ain't no need to fish.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Are you running the Pro Angler 360 or the 180?
No, I wasn't on that boat to save my life, buddy. I got the 180.
Nice.
So it's funny you say that because I'm running the Pro Angler 360, and one of the questions you had asked before, Marty, was anybody have any challenges?
Yeah.
Midday of the final day, my belt jammed or snapped and left my drive sideways. So I was turned around, standing up the opposite direction, facing my seat, jumping up and down in my kayak, trying to get the drive out so that I can continue to fish. And that didn't work out. So I ended up putting the bungee cord on the pedal so that they would just stay up, and just ran the bow mount for the rest of the day. And then my chair broke. So I couldn't lean back or sit back. So I was sitting up in like Indian style the rest of the day. We're standing.
Wow.
And you still killed it out there, which just goes to
that was the only thing that distracted me and kept me focused was that the fish were biting. I have a Lowrance. You're welcome, Jess. I sold her my 180 and got a 360. I have the Lowrance FS9 for active target, and I have a Humminbird Helix 10 to run Mega 360.
Wow. All right, Matt's got a question here, and it's a good one, I think. What about bass boat tournaments? Were you guys fighting that crowd to spots?
Nope.
At all?
Nope.
I didn't see any bass boats come even close to where I was at.
I saw it.
Yeah, they'd come by and like make a couple casts towards the docks or something, but they weren't actually fishing the docks or anything. They kind of most everyone I saw was scoping or throwing a chatterbait out in the grass.
You guys are lucky because I had a guide come up right up on me, and we had some words. He cast it right at my kayak, and that was it. I just said, "Hey, that's not cool." And then he said, "What?" He said, "What'd you say?" And I said, "You heard me." And then he had a client with him, so he just kind of eased off. He went right because I had fish there, and they were busting, and he came right in there. And right, I mean, I don't, you like share Eric, but he was like right on me, suffocating me. And Brandon was there too. That Brandon from Missouri, he was there, saw it. So anyway, that's why. And I was in a cove with, of course, Trevor was there. Trevor Wagner was over there. We had like only 3 or 4 guys launched the first day, and the second day, 15 launched there.
Yeah,
it got a little crowded.
Oh. See, on Mike's spot, I went around and posted the GPS coordinates on all the GTO boards. So.
Oh, there you go. He had 7 boats on his spot. Wow.
Oh man.
and he still did well. Besides that, okay, here's one. So this kind of helps with the yak off awards that we're doing. Jeremy Baker's here.
Yeah.
What was do any of you guys have a key accessory that helped you, or some key gear that helped you besides your chatterbait and jig rods? What was one key accessory that might have helped you?
My net.
Super glue.
Super glue?
Yeah, super glue. Yeah.
Net? A net?
Yeah.
No
Super
net.
glue, like Wyatt said, super glue saved us a lot of trailers.
Yep.
Yeah, I did too. I had super glue out there, put gluing my little minnows back on the hooks. Kept coming off.
Justin had been fishing without it, and I told him to put super glue on the jig, and all of a sudden he's like, "I understand how you're only using one packet of lures a day."
Yeah. Anybody else have anything?
Not off the top of my head, no. I would have killed for some ratchet straps, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you guys, but did anybody leave anything at the ramp? Because I did.
I've been waiting for that guy. Give me just 1 second.
I wished I had left my my boat leg at the ramp because I pretty much did on the national day. Or actually, no, it was the end of. No, it was national. First thing in the morning. Jeremy can attest to this because he had to help me launch the boat. I went to launch my Blue Sky and the wheel bumped a rock and I heard a ting and the leg snapped. So,
oh man.
Yep. Needless to say, that thing's a bit heavy if you're dragging that or lifting it for that matter.
All right.
I'm glad that you asked that, Marty. I personally didn't leave anything at the ramp, but if anybody happened to go to the ramp at Seabold and had found a pack of FPV batteries, they belonged to one of my guys, and he'd be grateful if he got them back.
I never saw those there, but maybe I just overlooked them, But I did. I left my Hobie, that gray thing, that kickstand thing or whatever, there somewhere. But anyway, so here's something really important, guys, because you guys know this as well. Over 90% of this is mental, and so let's help people out. What do you guys do, or how do you prepare mentally and maybe even physically for this event like this? This was a grind. I mean, we were out there for pretty much did a work week on the water.
Mm-hmm.
The tournament hours by themselves alone for the 3 days was 28 hours straight of fishing. That's not including the pre-fishing that was done.
I counted that as 36.
Because you had Saturday too.
Are you including like getting up at 4 in the morning and then?
I'm only counting the actual fishing hours with the pre-fish, the post-fish, the challenge series, and the national championship was 36 hours.
And don't forget the Hero Cup.
Oh yeah,
I put that in there.
We were definitely over 60, I think, between our guys.
Yeah, between everything. Yeah. So
we got there at Sunday, and it was 10-hour days every day almost.
Yeah. So how do you prepare mentally for that? Maybe even physically. Go ahead. Somebody's.
Well, you ask anybody that I stayed with, I go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
We drink heavily until 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Mine's been just mental all year. It's not getting so caught up with whatever you're doing. Like the fish will tell you, the fish will talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all that stuff where I'm sitting here beating my head against the wall trying to punch grass up the river, and I'm just like, why isn't it working? Well, because the fish aren't there.
Yeah.
That's why it's not working. Why aren't the fish under the docks? Well, they don't want to be there right now. They want to be offshore. So, just like even everything I fished this year, just key adjustments where, just all that stuff where if I had been so much in my head, I wouldn't have made the adjustments that I made to catch the fish.
Yep, for me it was just telling myself, all right, we just need that first one out of the way. Just get rid of the skunk and then everything else will fall into place. And then I hooked the first one and it's like, all right, awesome, we got that one. Let's get the second one. And you don't try to think ahead 5 or 6 or 7 fish and you just go for that next one. Worry about the next one. And then you get the bag and you're like, okay, we can relax a little bit. We can open up a little bit, try different techniques. And yeah, just keep telling yourself, go out, have fun, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you guys can keep talking, I'm taking notes because I'm the opposite. Because I am I'm the guy that you want out there with you. Because if things don't go well by 9, I'm usually in panic mode.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was on day one for me. Like I said, I didn't catch my first fish on day one till 7:30, and it was a 13 and a half. Then as the fish started rolling in, things started looking up. So going into day two, I wasn't too stressed about not catching fish in the morning because my good bite window wasn't until about 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
But actually on day two, I think I had a limit by 7:30 this time, and I was like, well, if that's the case, as soon as my good bite window comes in, I'm going to be in a lot better shape. And it didn't play out quite as well, but I still managed to catch key fish.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, I think mentally, if you can help anybody, I think is when you're because you're excited, you're amped up, and you just want to get on those good fish. I think the best tip for that is to slow down, I guess, because like you guys said, once you get those first few fish in, and then you realize, okay, now I got all this time left. Now I can coast. Now I can try different techniques, and I can finesse a little. Whichever. When you're like me and like I said, you don't have a fish in the boat by 9, you're tend to fish so much faster because you feel like you got to catch up and you end up you're actually hurting yourself.
What can someone do though, guys? What can someone do to stay away from that feeling?
If you need to, just take a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down, check your phone, check your emails, do whatever you need to do. Just kind of get out of that headspace because I know whenever I was skipping that jig, if I ping that pontoon boat like 3 or 4 times, I start feeling that little like, what am I doing with my life here? What's happening? And I just kind of like I'll just sit down. And I'll just like it's probably a good time to retie, so I'll just sit down, and just retie, and just kind of like center for a second, and then get back up and start going again.
Wow. So what's one piece of equipment you guys rely on total? I mean, you have to have it in your boat. Absolutely got to rely on it.
My evergreen combat stick.
What do you do with that?
Oh, sling chatterbaits all day.
Okay.
It's a good question.
Seriously, that's my go-to rod. That's my, if I don't have a chatterbait and I'm not throwing a chatterbait, it's going to be a rough day.
Yeah.
It is a good question because it's one of those things where it's like you don't realize how important something is till you don't have it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like that with a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like when you cut a finger in the weird spot, you're like, you don't really notice how often you use that spot on your hand until you've hurt it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'll give you an example of we had our invitational on Lake George at the beginning of October, and my negative power wire actually burned in half from my motor plug, and I was out in the middle of the lake. Jeez. And it was like, oh, yeah, I can't fish like this out here with just a pedal drive, because I'm so attuned to fishing with the XI3. So, but I think that really goes for a lot of stuff. I mean, if when you have it and then all of a sudden you don't have it, mm-hmm. Now it's like it's in your it's added. Now your routine is all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say probably the most important.
Go ahead, Justin.
The most important thing for me would be like my power box. Especially this go round when we were using Fishing Chaos, with the live tracking, it smoked my cell phone battery. Yeah. Like, I mean, if I didn't have that to charge it, I wouldn't have been taking pictures of fish in the afternoon.
Yeah. Wow.
Which would have been all right on the second day. It would have been all right on the second day.
That's strange because it didn't hurt my battery at all. I still had like 75, 80% by when I got off the water.
By 9 o'clock, my battery
I did not charge it at all.
I'm gonna say the phone leash for me. The phone leash.
Remember you guys wanted that last trip at Gunnersville.
If you're not using a phone leash, I mean, you're taking a huge irresponsible risk. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Okay, Matt Dillon asked, anybody throw a swim bait or a shaky head?
Define swim bait.
Yeah,
shaky head, you had to call Casey on that one.
Yeah. Shaky. I'll bet Casey did.
A Kitech on a 3/8 ounce ball head. If you consider that a swim bait, yes, I threw one and caught 1 or 2 fish on that.
I threw the dangerous swim bait a couple of for a little while, but I didn't get any bites or anything on it. So
yeah. I try to glide, but I had one bite, but it's too slow. It's too slow for me.
All right, I got to get. I'm going to have him take over the scene for a minute. I didn't have him in there yet. There's Mark. All right, guys, I have a little slideshow here. We're going to go through it and let you guys see these pictures here, and then we can go through them and talk about stuff as we go. And by the way, anybody in their 60s does this stuff. It took me hours and hours, where it takes a kid like 2 seconds to do that stuff.
I had to do it like 3 or 4 times too.
Yeah. And now I'm trying to figure out how to run that slideshow. So
hit play.
But I'm going to start it. Okay, so now I put this in there because between Justin and Wyatt, they took home pretty much almost the whole table. They might as well have loaded that up in your trucks before we started.
Seriously.
Yeah. Okay, and then so here's Wyatt getting his trophy from Chad, and there's the standings, the top 100, and you were a quarter inch from the century mark.
So close.
So close.
Yep, I think I had the fish on at one point, but
and then Mark was 1 inch behind. I mean, that, when did you feel like you had it won, Wyatt, or did you ever feel that?
I had that at like 10 o'clock in the morning, so I had to sit on that for 6 hours and watch people.
Oh man!
slowly come all the way up, and I'm sitting there like throwing back 18s and stuff. But just all day, everything I was catching was 17, 18. I'm like, I just need a little bit more.
What was your smallest fish, Wyatt?
On that day, I think I had 19 and a half.
Okay, and how about you, Mark? What was your smallest fish?
My smallest fish that went for my limit, or you mean in
for
general?
Your limit? Yeah, for that.
Oh, 18 and a half.
So I needed a 19 and a half.
I needed 19 and a half to tie Wyatt, and I would have beat him with big fish.
Oh wow, that could have. And then
Michelle stole my 20 and a half inch fish from me.
Yeah.
At least that's what I tell everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michelle.
All right. So the next one. So there's Wyatt. I took that picture. How did you?
I unmuted it. Go ahead. You said you're welcome.
How did you get all that in your truck?
A couple of them were in the front seat. A couple of them were in the back seat. Strapped anywhere I could get them. There's not a lot of room in my truck after 2 weeks of fishing.
I'll bet. Now, when you stopped at a gas station, anybody say like, "Hey, man, looks like you did pretty well"?
No. It was like 4 a.m. I was driving through.
Oh. Okay. And then
you slam on the brakes, you hear everything clanging around.
We got to give a shout out to Jesse, man.
Heck yeah.
KBF National Sportsman of the Year. I want to talk about that a little bit, guys. The sportsmanship at this event was beyond reproach. I mean, it was really. I mean, for me, it was. I know there was a couple things that happened on the side, but overall, though, I just want to say, especially the New York guys, man, I was at the ramp with I've seen like 10 of them, and when they launch a kayak, it's like a battleship, man. There's one guy that has like 20-something rods on there, and he probably has the best cell phone reception in the country.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You? Was that you?
No, not me. That's gonna. I'm pretty sure it's Paul with Jack. I'm gonna give him a shout.
Yeah, it is with Jack. It is him. That's who it is. I got a picture of him. I'm like, you can't even get if you were to fish by him, you couldn't get very close because his rods are sticking out everywhere.
It's a defense mechanism.
Because I remember a lady one time on the shore, she yelled at me and she goes, "Hey, why you got all those rods sticking up?" I said, "For better cell phone reception," and she laughed. So anyway, Jessie though, I think she was very grateful for that, and she didn't expect it. But there are probably many others out there well deserving as well. But she's the winner this year. You know.
Heck yeah. No, she done did good.
Yeah, she helps run a club in Missouri, and I've known her for several years, and she's always been pretty cool. So, okay, here's the 10, and as you can see, there's the points, and it's I think it was 9-point increments, wasn't it? Or is it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the difference in the championship.
So Justin, it was close. Did it come down to one of your monthlies in North Carolina?
So Wyatt had maxed out 3 first places. I had 2 first and a second.
Uh-huh.
So that's why it was that 3 points difference because he was 6 points ahead coming into the tournament. So it literally took me beating him by 1 spot to be able to make up the 9 points.
Man, what are the odds of that? 2 guys from the same state, and then you meet in the championship, and it's a 4-point game. Amazing.
Well, I'm going to need the royalties from that jig, by the way. For showing you that jig.
There you go. And you got Jesse. How close was it for 10th to 11th?
3 points.
Yeah.
And I maxed my my standings. Actually won every single challenge this year that I went into. Yeah. So I think that was like 6 straight.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, all he needed to do right behind me was get 1 more first instead of a second, and he would have beat me out.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how close it was.
Wow, that's pretty cool. But anyway, here's your 10 for next spring, and it's a loaded field. I don't know if I belong there, but I think it's a loaded field.
You earned it, just like all the rest of us.
Yep.
I was surprised.
It's a stacked to a field if I've ever seen one.
That's stacked. That's stacked.
So since I'm the odd man out here, and I'm not in the 10 with you fine gentlemen, have you guys locked down a place that you are looking at?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
So,
I'm hoping to come in. Huh?
No, go ahead.
They've thrown out everywhere from Florida to Tennessee to South Carolina, North Carolina. It's and then the times have been like from January to May, so it's still up in the air as far as.
Yeah.
So being a director myself in the Long Island club that I run, it's part of my job to actually put together schedules and pick lakes and try to put people on the best lakes possible at whatever time. Being that, you got, Jesse, he's coming up from Vermont, and you guys are in South Carolina, and Marty, you're in Nebraska, right? Am I correct there? Yeah. So I kind of poked my head in, so I'm going to kind of reiterate what I had sort of said in there, and I figured that you would probably want to try to pick the most central location as possible. Not suggesting that would be Kentucky Lake or anything, but on the Tennessee River, for someone who's not from down here, doesn't the Tennessee River itself have like a chain of like 10 different lakes that all connect to that system?
Yeah. My thoughts on it were to pick somewhere small, like one of those, what is it, 10,000 or something small where, bass boats usually don't hold tournaments, but they still have giant fish, or like they threw out like an electric only lake. So that, we would just have some pristine water to fish.
Yeah. I mean, the option for Duck River Reservoir is still there too. So, but I don't know how the bass boats are with that place. So.
Yeah. So we got to discuss it. Yeah. I've got a 50-acre pond here in Nebraska that we could fish this loaded.
Let's do it.
I mean, if you guys want to come to, I have the house and everything for you.
I mean, if we push it to June, I could probably get my family's cabin up in Maine, and it's an 85-acre little plot, and we got.
I didn't drive to Maine.
There you go. All right. Let's see. We got another picture here. So there we go. I got a picture of Justin there with his load. And I ate supper with you guys, and you guys are the coolest dudes. And the other thing is, you're very competitive. You guys are very competitive, and you have things. What I noticed is you have things dialed in. You know what you're going to do. You know where you're going to go. Everything, and you have a confidence about you, and it rubs off on others. By the way, I just want you to know, and that was pretty neat. I just like to see what guys like when I ate with the New York guys that one night, and they were very. You guys have a great group. I love those jerseys, like the Elite Five. That's pretty cool.
Right.
And then I ate with you guys at that barbecue place. That was pretty fun too.
Yep.
Porky's, yeah. There's
Porky's
like
too.
two of them, I think.
Porky's too.
Yeah, Porky's too. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Russ was with us and Garrett Wade. I was sitting amongst the royalty of bass fishing, man, that night too. New York's royalty and then the Southeast, so it was pretty cool. All right, and then here we go. So we're gonna get you guys. We have to hear. I told you, Jesse, that you got to tell this story like you told it to me the other night. Okay.
All right.
And so here we go. We're gonna hear the most not unbelievable, but the greatest story ever told in bass fishing right here. Okay. In fact, you got to really speak up, and people that are on here are going to get a treat.
All right.
Go.
I guess we'll just start with the morning. I had just found out that May the 10th, so I was already on cloud 9, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna go out. We're gonna have some fun. The night before, I had decided, it's Gunnersville. I've accomplished a lot of what I wanted to do, and I want to go, punching and frogging out here. So I, swapped some combos out and stuff, and then, brought that with me. Anyway, so we launch. They get out there, and I've got I don't know, about 7:30. I've got 4 dinks, and only 2 of them scoreable. And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go on the other side of where I was fishing and go find some good hydrilla mats and start punching some fish in the face, hopefully. Anyways, so I get over there and start punching, and probably 3-4 punches in, I get a good bite, and I jack it, pull it out, 18 and a half. And I'm like, all right, here we go. This is looking good. A couple punches later, I crack a 17 and a half. I'm like, yes. All right, now we got 4 in the boat. We just need the one more to get the bag, and everything's going to go good. So I'd say probably about 5, maybe 10 minutes later, I'm working down this grass line, and behind the grass line, there's like this patch of, I guess it's primrose or something like that. And right next to it's this hole that's probably about, yay big. Now, all spring, I had been practicing my flipping. And, I was just using like a small little, bucket outside where I, 20 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet, pitching and doing my flips and stuff. So anyways, I was like, oh, that should be pretty easy to hit. And, I'm punching the 1.5 ounce weight with a D-bomb, and goes right in there. Perfect. I'm like, all right, here we go. And I felt it hit. I clicked my reel, reeled up the slack, and then lifted it once. Nothing. Went to lift it again, and I got absolutely staggered. Like, she thumped it. And I cracked her and heard the scream of the braid. I'm like, yes, here we go. And I start, cranking her in, except she went right to the top of the grass and bound herself up in there. And I was like, oh boy, here we go. And at this point, I was like, yeah, this feels like a pretty good fish. It's definitely at least going to be an 18 anyways, because it felt like the other one when it hit. So I start trying to high stick her and rip her out of the grass. So the problem was she was bound up in it, and it was all pretty like fresh grass underneath there, so it wasn't coming. And every time I would try to pull on it, the brakes would give out and it would just peel out lines. So I'm like, oh crap, and I can't get to her because my boat's got the trolling motor down and it's got the rudder down. So I'm like stuck between a rock and a hard place here. I can't get to the fish and I can't get her to me. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do something here because I'm not losing this fish. So I point the rod directly at her. I get it real tight on the line, and then I wrap my hand around the braid and just start wrenching.
Oh my gosh!
2 or 3 times, and finally it breaks loose, and I've got this giant chunk, probably like 10 plus pounds of grass. So I'm like reeling it up, and I get it to the boat, and there's like no real movement. And I'm like, oh man, did she come off? And then it kind of like shook a little bit, and I'm like, no, it's still there. So I prop my rod up with my right hand, and I'm like lifting the grass on my left, and I see her jaw. And I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a good fish because her jaw was thick. And I'm like, okay. So I reach down and I grab her by the jaw, and then I go to lift her up, and her mouth opens up. And I swear, like, this thing is like massive. And I was like, oh my God, what did I just pull in? So I set my rod down, and I'm double fisting this fish, and it's just like, oh man. And so I start cleaning off the grass, and then I'm looking at this thing, and no joke, her eyeball was like this big. And I'm like, this fish is bigger than anything that I have ever caught before. And I was not letting go of her face. So anyways, I popped the hook out, and she wasn't coming off. Like, that thing was like right in the roof of the mouth, perfectly, exactly how it should be. And I flip her on her side, and this fish is just, oh my God. And I'm pretty sure everybody on the lake, all the way down to like Brown Creek, heard me screaming. So, anyways, I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, this fish is not getting out off this boat without a picture. So I switch hands, reach behind me, grab my net, set it down, and then put my foot on it. Then I grab my board and stick that down, and then layer on it. I don't know if you can actually see in the picture, but my net's just to the side of her.
Yeah.
And I ended up taking a quick photo of her, and with my hand still in her mouth. And the reason I did that was in case she did eat herself off the board, at least I would have proof that I had a big fish. I mean, it wouldn't count, but at least I had a big fish. And after a couple minutes, she finally like settled down and let me, start taking pictures. And I probably took, I don't know, 10 plus pictures of this fish. And then put the phone away, grabbed the tape, put it around her belly, and she was at 19 inches on the girth. And I'm like, oh man, this is a good fish. And then I took my scale out and I clipped it on her face, lifted her up, and the scale said 713. I'm like, yep, this is definitely my PB. And so I got the phone back out, put her down, did my release video. She went away, and I just, I was sitting there taking a breath because, I'm like shaking, and I'm like, I got to calm down a little bit. And so I start going through the pictures, and the final picture that was uploaded, the one that was there, I was worried about her mouth being open. So I didn't upload that one. I uploaded one where it was like just over 23 and a half. And I did that because for absolute certain, I knew her face was closed. And, that was the one that I originally had uploaded. And when I had gotten back, I had talked to Chad about it and showed him the pictures. And he's like, no, her mouth is closed. Just go ahead and re-upload that. But backing up, as soon as I uploaded that picture, Chad calls me. He's like, hey, dude, you got a VPN on? And I'm like, no, I don't even know what a VPN is because I don't even know what the purpose of it is. And he's like, well, we're watching you on the track. We can see you on the tracker, but your fish are getting uploaded and it's like coming from like North Carolina. And I'm like, what? I was like, that's weird. Anyways, he's like, yeah, just send me a picture of the fish and the release video. So I did that. Said that to him. He's like, all right, you're good to go. Good luck the rest of the tournament. And I'm like, oh, big sigh of relief afterwards. And then Jack, he was coming up because he would come to check on me. He's like, hey man, are you all right? I heard you yelling around the corner. I'm like, yeah, dude, I literally just caught an 8, pretty close to an 8-pounder. He's like, what? Get out of here. And I'm like, no, seriously. And then he saw it, he's like, holy crap. But anyway, when we had gotten back that night, Chad and I were talking about it, and I asked him if I could check my scale because I gave him the dimensions, and he did like the formula. And he's like, "Huh, that's weird. That fish should definitely be around 8 or over 8 pounds." And we checked my scale, and it ended up being light. So I was like, "Oh, there it is, 8-pounder."
That's nice. So, quick question. That's a great story, man. How deep was the water where you were punching?
About 6 foot.
Really? Okay.
Yep. But it was all just like packed with the line that I was running was just all hydrilla. And then behind it was like eelgrass that I guess when the lake was higher, it had gotten in behind it and then like pushed up, against it. And then there were just little patches here and there of that vine, I guess it is primrose or whatever.
Yeah. And then the gal doing your replica, Mel Isaacs out of Missouri, she will do a phenomenal job with that.
Well, that's awesome. I haven't heard anything yet, but I mean, it's only been a week.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I'm sure you will. But she's one of the best out there.
That's awesome.
So, great story, man. We love hearing that one.
That is the fish of a lifetime.
You bet. There's Saturday. Wyatt said, "I'm not going away yet, guys." and of course, I was with Garrett Wade fishing, and Garrett was tearing it up.
Yeah.
And then Trevor Wagner, he launched as well where we were at, and he got his out there on a couple patterns that he had going, and he's gonna actually contribute to the article we're writing about it as well. So pretty cool stuff there, guys. Real quick, because I know it's getting over an hour here, and I know some of you guys got to get going here. Real quick, anybody you guys want to thank, family sponsors, fellow anglers, anything like that, go ahead.
So, got Old Town. I've been running that 136 for a year and a half now. Well, yeah, about a year and a half now, and it's gotten every national championship. All those trophies been because of that boat. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it gets me there. And having that spot lock on there is clutch. And then Gabby texting me, keeping me sane through all this.
Yeah, nice. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm going to thank everybody. My sponsors, Jackson and Catch, and all my guys, and then my family and you guys, because this year I think a lot of us can agree that it was probably one of the best years as far as like camaraderie goes. In a while. And I, just hearing on the grapevine, I sit there and I listen to conversations and stuff, and that's what I picked up is that people who especially have been doing it a while have said that this is probably one of the best ones that they've been at, and they're looking forward to coming next year. So, but yeah, you guys, keeping your positive attitudes and just meeting you, spending some time with you, picking your brains, you're all are great human beings, and it's my honor to be among you now. And so keep it up.
Cool, that's good. Hey, Justin, you got anybody?
I want to thank my bank card for not declining.
All right. Well, you should be able to fill it up a little bit with. So anyway, all right, and then anyway, we're going to close up here, but I just want to thank you guys for doing this. I don't know if we've done one with the KBF before, so stay tuned for more stuff. We have some new energy. We're trying to rebrand some things, guys, and make it better. I know there's a few of us, Mark and myself are trying to help Chad out to grow this a little bit and get some positivity going. And of course, Michael's going to get an ad in here.
We'll be back, Michael.
Yes.
Well, Marty, I mean, you want to tell everyone watching what your new official title is? Because that was only announced to the people that were there.
Oh yeah, sure. I think they're going to make an announcement, but yeah. Well, first I want to mention that Mark, let's go with your position first.
I'm not really sure what the name of this position is. We kind of haven't dialed it down yet. It's going to be basically like the national tournament, not director, but like coordinator slash ambassador, club liaison.
I gotta find.
We call it short. You're the VP, and I'm being called the sheriff.
That's what I got a spare one for you.
Sheriff. Hey, I'll take it. Yeah, got the trend going, boys. Let's go. Love it.
No, I am. I'm vice president of operations, but I'm the mayor.
The mayor, that's right.
Basically, so
the mayor.
So Justin, if you have anything happen out there, you just come to me, man. I'm gonna take care of you. I know, Justin. I know you got to get going. Because it's getting late out there. So, but that's our new stocking caps, man. These are pretty.
Oh, man, it's warm. Oh, I love this thing. It's so warm.
I'm gonna get a screenshot. Hold on here. I gotta get a screenshot of this. This is pretty cool. All right. Anyway,
and you got Mark's head. You got Mark's head in there.
I got Mark's. I'm gonna hold on to it till next year.
There you go. There you go, Mark. But anyway, yeah, you guys did a great job on this, and the main thing is it benefits people that are watching. It gives them confidence, and those that have not gone to Guntersville, you got to get there. You got to get there.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
You probably
it
have
is, it is worth the trip.
Yeah. Other than Florida, you probably have the best shot at a 10-pounder if you get to Guntersville.
Yeah.
And it literally has every style of fishing for every angler. If you want to flip docks, you can flip docks. If you want to punch grass and mats, it has that. You want to fish, offshore ledges, it has it. It has bridges. It's got, like I said, it's a bass. It's almost perfect to being a bass fisherman's dream.
Yeah.
Laydowns for miles up if you go up certain rivers, and
it's probably the most versatile fishery in the country, I think.
Oh yeah.
It had that 900 boat tournament out there 2 weeks ago, and still out there smashing them.
Still replenished.
It is. I said it was the number one lake in the country, and I'm going to stand by that because I fished Lake Fork too, and Lake Fork does have giants, and you know that too, Wyatt. But I'm going to say Guntersville because literally you're on. I had such an adrenaline rush all day long because you didn't know if that next bite was going to be that 22, 23 incher.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an adrenaline rush the entire time.
I mean, it definitely it always produces. I mean, you go like I was saying earlier. I just looked at the times from 11 o'clock to 12:51. I caught 5 20+ inch fish.
Wow.
Yeah, and Jesse, you can attest to this being further up, but in the Northeast. I mean, how often in a season do we come across 20, 21 inch fish?
Well, I mean, I had a pretty awesome season. I probably caught at least 20 plusers, at least 2 dozen, and that's just largemouth. I've also got almost 20 smallmouth as well that are trophy size, 19 plus. So, I mean, I also fish like a lot, like a ridiculous amount. But your average angler, they might come across a 21 incher once a year. You know, somebody who's just out fun fishing. They might, yeah.
On average, they're not as common, like I said, as going to Gunnersville, where you have a chance, like Justin, to put 5 of them in the boat on the same day in an hour.
Man, watching you guys track those freaking 20s and 21s and 22s, I'm like, oh my god, what is going on here? I'm having a blast over here with 16 inchers just to get it back. These guys are freaking smashing tanks left and right.
Over the 4 days of fishing, the tournament fishing, I caught, I think, 9 or 10 20 plus fish. 20 plus inch fish.
Wow. I lost a couple that were. Anybody else lose some big ones?
Yes, unfortunately.
Me
I
too.
didn't lose any big ones, but I did lose a couple.
Yeah. I had one on that I just couldn't absolutely even control. It just got the best of me. It was on a spinning rod.
No.
You can't bring that to Gunnersville.
Yeah. Well, I was throwing a Nico in deep water.
Again, you can't bring that to Gunnersville.
I know. Well, I did.
You can.
Yeah, I caught two 8-pounders at Lake Fork with it.
This is Gunnersville.
I know. You gotta throw a rope. All right, we're gonna end this broadcast. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Marty.
We're gonna get some
Thank you,
music
Marty.
going. And hey, stay on, guys.